Thanks very much, Steve. Well, on the 23rd of August, West Ham were top of the Premier League table. On the 11th of September, Arsenal were bottom. Mikel Arteta has made great strides to get this team operational. No distraction of European football this season. They've been able to prioritise the league, and if Arsenal can win the remaining games of this campaign, they will be guaranteed to hear the Champions League anthem played at the Emirates again next season. Of course, the same thing applies to Tottenham, North London derby in 11 days' time. Spurs, who've already won today, they've moved ahead of Arsenal up into the top four. If Mikel Arteta's side can win here, they can leapfrog over them once again. The extra commitments of Europe and getting all the way to the Europa League semi-final, maybe more for West Ham, has taken its toll on their league performances. It seems that competition, the Europa League, is their route into the elite competition for next season. But David Moyes has gone with a relatively strong team here and not as many changes as I was expecting anyway, Matt Upson. He wants to win this game. He feels West Ham can.
Well, I think this is just the message that David Moyes gives. I mean, we heard a little taster from Leon Osman earlier about the type of person and manager that he is. And I think you're right, a lot of managers might look at this game and think, well, we need to wrap a couple in cotton wool. Well, David Moyes just thinks, well, put them out there and play. We'll deal with anything that comes from this game. But this is a Premier League match and we want to win this game at home in front of our home supporters against Arsenal. It's a massive game for him and he's picked a team that can do the best for him.
The two managers know each other well, of course. David Moyes was manager of Everton when he signed Mikel Arteta back in 2005. Arteta played more games under Moyes than any manager in his playing career. And the team's about to get started here. The bubbles are blowing at the London Stadium. Arsenal in their change kit of yellow as the players take a knee ahead of kick-off. It's going to be West Ham in their claret and blue playing from left to right as we look down. It's a full house at London Stadium. West Ham fans who've been so enthused at how their team has been playing this season. They hope there is still silverware to come in Europe, and they hope they've got a London derby victory in them today. Clearance from Ramsdale into the West Ham penalty area is misheaded by Cresswell out for a corner. A West Ham mistake inside the opening 15 seconds.
Yeah, well, it's worthwhile saying that it's a Cresswell who's playing centre-back as well, because the position or the formation, shall we say, in terms of the personnel is slightly different, with Sofal at right back, it appears to be. And is that Fredericks at left back across the far hand side?
Yes, that seems to be, as we welcome listeners joining our coverage around the world on BBC's World Service to London Stadium in the capital. West Ham against Arsenal. We just started as Declan Rice wins the header on the edge of the 6-yard box to clear away the corner. El Neni will have it inside the centre circle for Arsenal, and he sprays to the left-hand side, looking for Gabriel, who remained forward from the corner, challenged by Sofal, and the ball goes out of play. So Matt's correct. It's Sofal at right back, Zuma alongside Cresswell in the middle, and Fredericks plays at left back for Arsenal. It is a flat back four, Noble and Rice in front of them. Here come West Ham over the halfway line for the first time in the game, and a challenge on Bowen, and he's taken down by Odegaard, and it's a free kick to West Ham inside their opponent's half. It might have been Xhaka who made the foul, actually.
Yeah, the first one was Xhaka, the wrong side of Jared Bowen. As you said, he just, when players drive past him, he finds it hard just to let that happen. He just comes from behind, he just trips Jared Bowen, catches him in the ankle, and then Odegaard follows through from the side.
Chance for Arsenal here as Nketiah beats Zuma in the chase, who was here on Thursday night for the Europa League semi-final first leg. And cheers here for West Ham as they regain possession in the midfield. I thought Zuma looked like a player who's been rushed back and needs must and all that. He didn't look 100% fit. I'm very surprised he starts today. Matt, you mentioned before, you said in your playing days sometimes you want the games thick and fast. That actually keeps you sharpest.
Yeah, I think so. You're playing 3 games a week, but it's just about the preparation, the game, then the recovery, then you're back into the preparation for the next one. And I think that, okay, it's Sunday, but they don't play till Thursday, so there's plenty of time to get that recovery. And it's just surprised me because Diop's on the bench as well, which is interesting as to why he's playing Cresswell with Zuma at centre-back.
Header by Declan Rice. We've got two of the youngest captains in the Premier League this season up against each other. Declan Rice 23, Martin Odegaard is 22. The only younger captain in the top flight this season has been Crystal Palace's Mark Gehi, who's still only 21. Chance here for West Ham. Ball played by Fornals. He was looking for Bowen, and it's cut out on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. This game has started at a very high tempo. Arsenal have it in the midfield.
You wouldn't have assumed that West Ham had a massive European semi-final midweek. The way they've started, lots of energy. Jared Bowen making runs in behind, very nearly found then by Fornals with the first time ball, and just the anticipation of Bowen just pulling off the shoulder all the time.
West Ham had a very bad start on Thursday. They conceded inside the opening minute, and you can imagine David Moyes will have been stressing for them to have a very considered start here today. Saka starting for Arsenal, having gone off injured against Manchester United last weekend. A player in very good form, Bukayo Saka, 9 goals in his last 16 Premier League appearances. There's an argument to say that Arsenal over-rely on him really. He's been scoring the goals for them more than any other player in recent months. He is creating more chances this season than any other Arsenal player. Bukayo Saka is very happy to fulfill those roles, of course, but for the team, they could probably do with someone else chipping in as well, and they're hoping that Nketiah is going to start providing that with more regularity. Gabriel plays it into the centre circle to Granit Xhaka. Short ball to the near side to Nuno Tavares, who is getting a run in the team now, with Tierney being injured and won't be back till next season. 0-0 on 5 Live on the World Service. Rob Holding, who's in the team today because Ben White's got a tight hamstring. Nuno Tavares chests it down and brings it over the halfway line. Left-hand side as Arsenal come forward, gives it gently back into the middle to Granit Xhaka, and back to Rob Holding once again, who spies a bit of room for Odegaard over on the right-hand side. West Ham playing with 10 men behind the ball. It's interesting that Bowen appears to be playing in the centre-forward position. Ben Rama is out wide on the left, so Jared Bowen playing where you'd expect Antonio to be. Clearance away by Cresswell for West Ham, who are under pressure here in the early stages. Xhaka gives it back to the halfway line again to Gabriel, and back into the midfield to the Swiss international. Arsenal looking to calm things down in the midfield now and control possession. Earlier on today, Everton beat Chelsea. Huge results for Frank Lampard. He's out 2 points behind Leeds, and Everton have got a game in hand. The Chelsea defeat means that their position in third in the table is far from complete, because Tottenham and Arsenal are both within touching distance now of Chelsea, and never mind the fight for the top 4, Arsenal could still end up finishing in the top 3. Noble goes down in the midfield. He was pushed from behind by Martinelli, and it's a free kick to West Ham near the centre circle. Not upset.
Yeah, some start to this game, Connor, isn't it? For a Sunday afternoon, it really is. Both teams going at it, really competitive for the ball. Lots of challenges, lots of loose balls in the middle of the park. We've seen Declan Rice really going hard in the air, Elneny as well. It's quite a good tempo, I have to say. Really enjoying the opening stages.
Arsenal have got a very good record over the years against West Ham. They've been a bogey team for today's hosts. West Ham have only had 2 wins in the last 29 matches against Arsenal. And Sofal keeps it in play on the far side. Fornals gives it back to Kurt Zouma, and he's got Cresswell to his left-hand side. Craig Dawson suspended today. He has scored an own goal against Arsenal in this game last season. Dawson, who's become a very important player. He had started each of West Ham's last 23 Premier League games before being forced to miss this one today. Lanzini has possession. 10 yards inside the Arsenal half. Low to the feet of Bowen. Good pressure on him from Martinelli, but West Ham hold on to it. Declan Rice gives it to Ben Rama on the left-hand side. Fancies a run, beats the first defender, sends in a low cross. Elneny well positioned, and Arsenal regain it inside their penalty area, and they calmly play their way out with a few neat touches. Nketiah gives it to Saka, back to Tomiyasu on the edge of the penalty area. Good high press from Arsenal, from West Ham, but Arsenal trust themselves to play their way through it, and Xhaka will bring it up towards the halfway line. No heavy challenge on him. Tried to play a ball to Nketiah. Wonderfully anticipated by Aaron Cresswell, who nips in and wins possession back for West Ham. There's been a very high turnover of possession in the opening 7 minutes. This is Lanzini, just outside the Arsenal penalty area. Gives it back to Cresswell on the left-hand side. Down the left wing they come. with Fredericks. Back to Cresswell, who may be playing as a central defender, but when West Ham have the ball, he still comes forward as you'd expect him to do on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and I think looking at the team, I mean, if I was West Ham, I'd be looking at the fullbacks of Arsenal. Tommy Arsu not had a lot of game time recently, and Tavares is a bit low on confidence, it has to be said, and I just think that area of the pitch, West Ham do have some real strength with Benrahma, the likes of Bowen peeling out wide at times, and also Fornals, and you like to think they'd get a little bit of joy with the overlapping of Cresswell as well, or even Fredericks on that left-hand side sometimes.
Declan Rice and Mark Noble starting together in the Premier League for the first time this season. Souček, who's been such a regular in the side, Mark Noble, who is retiring at the end of the season. Saka with a crossfield ball that is behind Nketiah and easily cut out by Sofal. Bowen, good control under pressure from Gabriel. Turns the Brazilian, works his way into Arsenal territory. El Neni tries to challenge. Bowen's able to shift it back to Rice, and now it's over to the left wing, and a chance for Benrahma to come forward. Gets level with the edge of the penalty area. West Ham attack. Lanzini deeper now, more central. Odegaard running in front of him. Arsenal sitting deep, being forced to here by West Ham as Declan Rice has possession on the far side, and his ball back to Mark Noble in the midfield, and West Ham come to the right, and Sofal clips it on to Fornals, returns the 1-2 to the Czech international. A very good start to the game from West Ham. They've looked so good with the ball at their feet. Fornals into Bowen near the byline on the right hand side. Support from Souček. Now Fornals back to Souček. He's got a bit of room. Good covering from Nuno Tavares, who puts it out for a corner. Menacing stuff from West Ham.
A lovely patient play. It's just a shame the ball was fed through to Sofal, who didn't quite get the quality of crossing as what the build-up play deserved. But you mentioned the football that West Ham have played. I mean, you wouldn't expect this type of football to be from West Ham and Arsenal to be defended. It's very much the style that Mikel Arteta wants Arsenal to play, and we now have a set piece with Bowen just about to bend this one in with his left foot.
West Ham good at these. Here it comes from Bowen. In swinger Ramsdale under pressure, punches, comes down around the penalty spot, and nothing fancy from Saka. He just puts it out for a throw in. Arsenal's defence will remain under pressure for now. West Ham United 0, Arsenal 0. It has been an exciting opening 10 minutes here at London Stadium on 5 Live Sport and the World Service from the BBC. Lanzini just outside the Arsenal penalty area, looks up and sees Fornals in space on the right hand side. He gives it to Vladimir Sofal, comes in field of Nuno Tavares, back to Mark Noble, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Poor pass from Noble, cut out by Martinelli. Chance for Arsenal to counter-attack. Xhaka up to Odegaard, pressure on him from Declan Rice. Tomiyasu makes himself available on the right hand side, and Arsenal now give it up to Bukayo Saka. Saka, who got the 90th minute winning penalty against Chelsea 10 days ago, scored again against Manchester United last weekend. Gabriel has the ball at the back for Arsenal, who could do with a spell of possession here now.
Well, I just think that's what they're thinking. Just take the sting out of it a little bit. I mean, they're so used to having control of the ball. Arsenal's a key part of how they play, but so far in this game, West Ham look to be the better team in terms of controlling the ball, knocking the passes around.
Mikel Arteta is down there having a word with assistant coach Steve Round, who was David Moyes' assistant at Everton for a long time, and I think he was on the coaching staff at Manchester United too when Moyes was there, so they all know each other well down in the technical area. Much of Mikel Arteta's education, and of course he learned a lot from Arsene Wenger, but he'll have learned an awful lot from David Moyes too. Fredericks has possession left hand side for West Ham, gives it up to Benrahma, back to Declan Rice. Not an easy pass to receive with El Neni right on top of him, but Rice seldom looks flustered, manages to give it back to Kurt Zouma.
Smooth, wasn't it, Connor, the way he just received that ball. Declan Rice under pressure, as you mentioned, but on the back foot, all in one lovely motion, received it and moved it out away from the challenge of El Neni. Just shows you how far he's come with the ball as a midfield player. He's very comfortable, Declan Rice, in receiving it anywhere.
Nuno Tavares, left back position for Arsenal, does well, plays the ball off Sofal. And that will be I thought it came off Sofal. The assistant has said it hasn't, so it's going to be a West Ham throw. And a chance for them to take it edge of the penalty area down the Arsenal end of the field. West Ham playing from left to right as we look down. It's a cloudy day in the capital. Throw in from Sofal. Fornals tries to return it to him. Sofal's not happy with that, too far in front of him. Nuno Tavares clears away for Arsenal. 19th appearance of the Premier League this season for the Portuguese young left-back. Mark Noble, wearing the white boots, gives it back to the halfway line to Kurt Zouma. To his left-hand side, Aaron Criswell, sent off in the Europa League quarter-final against Lyon. Criswell, under pressure from Odegaard, goes long. Bowen is going to scamper after this, but it's too long, and it bounces in front of Aaron Ramsdale, wearing all orange, and he bowls it out low to Gabriel. So West Ham have got the return leg of their Europa League semi-final in Germany on Thursday against Eintracht Frankfurt. After that, their league run-in is Norwich away, Manchester City at home, Brighton away on the last day. If they do make the Europa League final, that will be Wednesday, 18th of May. That is the midweek before the last day of the Premier League season. Arsenal leads at home next, and they've got Tottenham away, that's the huge one. Newcastle away, and Everton, who have won today at home against Chelsea, will be at Goodison Park for Arsenal on the last day of the season. Mikel Arteta goes back to Goodison.
I mean, you can't help but feel that Arsenal must view this game as an opportunity to really have a go at West Ham with these massive semi-finals either side of this match. I mean, it's no better time to come here and really try and take the game to them, but so far it's almost been the other way round, Connor. West Ham looking a little bit more threatening and a little bit more energy with the ball.
Strong challenge was Zouma on the halfway line. He has caught El Neni there. El Neni lying on the ground, slamming his palm against the turf, and Zouma, who had initially challenged Nketiah, was coming in. He stamped down on the foot of the Egyptian midfielder Mo El Neni. Free kick. Referee is asking El Neni if he wants treatment.
He's still laying there holding his foot. He's barely moved, El Neni. It was just a bit of a stamp from Kurt Zouma, wasn't it, as he just reached in to win the ball. He just trod straight on the front of El Neni's ankle or foot. He's back up on his feet now.
Free kick to Arsenal. Playing from right to left as we looked down earlier on today. Celtic won, Rangers won. Celtic edge closer to their 52nd Scottish title. They are 6 points clear. There's just 3 points, 3 games remaining for them. Tottenham beat Leicester 3-1. Everton 1-0 winners against Chelsea. We brought that game to you live here on 5 Live. Here's Saka attacking the penalty area for Arsenal. Drills in a low shot. Blocked away by Criswell. Ricochets high in the air. Comes back down to Saka, who's got it at his feet in the penalty area. Tried to play the 1-2 with Nketiah. Too many West Ham defenders back there. And David Moyes' side are able to get it away. Only briefly. Here come Arsenal again. Nuno Tavares on the left-hand side. Xhaka miscues his delivery. Zouma stretches, prods it away, but can't find a teammate. And El Neni will recapture possession for Arsenal, who've still got it inside the West Ham. Exactly quarter of an hour played, 0-0.
There's a little bit of a lazy looking clearance there from Kurt Zouma. He struggled to move his feet. He's looking a little bit laboured and fatigued, it has to be said, whether or not that is just his style at the moment, but he's not moving as briskly and as alertly as what you think at this early stage in the game, only 15 minutes in.
Arsenal possession of the halfway line. Odegaard plays a nicely delivered long pass out to the left wing. Nuno Tavares picks it up 20 yards from the byline, gives it infield to Granit Xhaka. Xhaka, who scored a nice goal against Manchester United last weekend, a long-range effort from outside the box. Arsenal have given it away here in the midfield though, and Lanzini picks out Declan Rice on the left-hand side. A real urging from the West Ham fans to get it forward. Sofal makes himself available on the right-hand side. Gives it on to Fornals. Low ball, which went under the legs of Nuno Tavares, but straight through to Ramsdale and not close enough to Bowen, who'd taken a good position in the middle.
Nice idea, just to mix it up a little bit there from Fornals. Didn't want to whip it into the box, just thought I'll just slide one across into the near post and hope that Jarrod Bowen's just gambled on that run, but nobody seemed to be on the same wavelength.
Whenever Pablo Fornals has played against Arsenal in the past in his career, he's always ended up on the losing side. As Nketiah wallops in a shot from long range, deflects off the defender, it goes out for a corner. Eddie Nketiah, who scored the late winner against West Ham at the Emirates last season. I remember doing that game, it was an 85th minute winner. He's won a corner for his team here. Odegaard has placed it on the far side. Lucas Fabianski, former Arsenal goalkeeper, up against his old club today. Spits in his gloves as he waits for the delivery to come in. In-swinger, Zouma leaps, wins the header, comes down for Saka on the edge of the penalty area. He's challenged as he tries to head it on. And then Sofal is out-muscled, which you don't say very often. And Martinelli has got possession on the left-hand side. Gives it to Nuno Tavares. Good challenge. Comes in from Mark Noble who falls as he tries to clear it away, and the ball goes out for a throw into Arsenal. They remain on the attack down the left hand side, 0-0.
I thought you were looking very smart today, Connor, as we said. I felt a little bit underdressed when I turned up earlier.
Thank you very much, man. It's been a long time since anyone has said that to me.
I just wanted to say it.
I like to make the effort, I thought you'd have done the same.
Sunday best, isn't it?
Is Nuno Tavares down the left hand side for Arsenal, tries to cross it in, comes off Fornals, and it goes out right over the top of the corner flag. I think it's got out on the corner kick side rather than a throw-in, so a chance for Arsenal to send players forward. Rob Holding, who's never scored a Premier League goal for Arsenal, has made his way into the box. Gabriel is up there too. Delivery is going to be from Martinelli. West Ham have all 11 players back in the penalty area. Fabianski comes, jumps, and pushed by Tomiyasu. He's done very well there, Fabianski, to punch it away. The referee says too much pressure on the goalkeeper, and that is a free kick to West Ham.
That's good goalkeeping from Fabianski. Not only did he get to it, but he got real clearance on the ball. Lots of bodies in there, and he makes a massive jump, leads with his right hand and punches it way outside the 18-yard box. It's brilliant goalkeeping.
I mean, he's a very good goalkeeper, isn't he, Fabianski? We were discussing it earlier off air. David Moyes has obviously made this promise to Alphonse Areola that he would be the cup goalkeeper this season, and he's been playing all the big Europa League games. It's a big call when the stakes are as high as they are. If you believe Fabianski's the better keeper, to honour that promise to Areola.
I mean, West Ham in a European semi-final, or then possibly a European final, to win a European Cup, and you're not going to play if you're Fabianski. I mean, I think there's a lot of respect between the two goalkeepers, and I think that goalkeepers do understand the situation. It's a very singular position. It doesn't rotate in and out, and when you are a number two, the opportunity to play is important. So I think there is a real respect there between the keepers, but nonetheless, Connor, that's a real career high, isn't it, playing in the European final?
Yeah, it's not unique to West Ham. We saw Quentin Kelleher playing the League Cup final for Liverpool. Tell you what, if that second leg of the semi-final goes to penalties, David Moyes has got to be thinking, do I bring on Fabianski, who's one of the best in the business at saving spot kicks? West Ham are coming the attack here, down the left-hand side. Benrahma up against Saka, dragging the ball under his studs, trying to find a little bit of space. Rice makes himself available 10 yards outside the penalty area, sets off down that same left wing where it came from Benrahma. Arsenal back playing deep again. Even Nketiah is back helping out the defence. And Kurt Zouma, the deepest lying outfield player for West Ham, is well inside the Arsenal half. West Ham give it to the right-hand side to Sofal, who played a pass, tried to run on. Martinelli collided with him. I think Mike Dean sort of acknowledged that he thought that might have been a foul, but because West Ham still have possession, he's happy for play to continue. Benrahma tries to break his way into the penalty area. He's done well against Tomiyasu. He gets into the box, however, whistle is blown. He must have fouled him. But did he foul him, or did it go out for a goal kick?
I think the linesman's signalling that it went out, because I'm pretty sure from where he's standing over this side of the pitch, the linesman, he couldn't actually see if there was a foul or not. And not for the first time in this game, Benrahma's just tried to face up Tomiyasu. He's done it one time, but Tomiyasu did really well there. Just tried to shadow the ball out of play, and it just got there.
He's not played much lately. Tomiyasu came on against Manchester United as a sub last weekend, and it's only his second appearance in recent months. And he was, it'll take a lot to outmuscle him because he's tough, Tomiyasu, but Benrahma did very well there. However, the ball had gone out of play. Here he is again, the Japanese.
He's brought some good balance to Arsenal, Tomiyasu. I just think he's a real proper defender in that right-back position, which they haven't had for a long time. It's always been about getting forwards, about attacking. And I think he's just at the right time. They brought a player that's a real defender that can play in that right-back position, very disciplined, and he's been a good addition to the squad.
That's the voice of Matt Upson, who's played for both of these clubs in the past. 0-0 for the moment. 5 live on the World Service for the BBC on this Premier League Sunday. Nketiah has possession bang on the halfway line. Gives it to the near touchline. Arsenal's left. And Nuno Tavares back in field to Xhaka. 3 players swarming in him. And that pressure forces Xhaka to give the ball away. And West Ham are very good at that. They hunt in packs. They try to isolate a player. They crowd around him and force him to make a mistake. Arsenal will get it back here, but they're right back on their byline. Left full back position for Xhaka once more. Rolls it towards the edge of the penalty area, and El Neni. Nuno Tavares is going to give it away here. Bowen applies the pressure on Martinelli. Fouls Martinelli. Free kick to Arsenal, 10 yards outside the penalty area.
Jarrod Bowen just doesn't stand still, because I know he gets a lot of references about his fitness, but he has not stood still in this game. He's pressing everywhere, he's making runs off the ball, and he just fouls there, tries to win the ball. I think he could have tackled and actually won the ball, but not kept controlling it, but he tried to do both and committed the foul himself.
So West Ham United 0, Arsenal 0. We have played 22 minutes, we are midway through the first half. Arsenal have had 2 shots, West Ham haven't had any yet. Gabriel has possession on the halfway line. Gives it into Rob Holding. Arsenal wearing the change kit, the very pale yellow. As Xhaka now has it on the halfway line. Has to look up, can't see any easy pass, gives it to Odegaard. Odegaard, who's really growing into life as an Arsenal player now. That's a nice pass. Gabriel to Elneny. Now Odegaard trying to hold off Declan Rice. Tries a little chop turn. Good work from Rice. Got the barest touch, but that's all he needed to put Odegaard off his stride. But then Saka works really hard and wins it back again for Arsenal. He's had a bright start to the game, Saka. Whenever he's had possession, things have looked dangerous. Elneny, central location. 12 yards or so outside the D. Xhaka again to the near touchline, and Nuno Tavares level with the edge of the penalty area, steadies himself, delivers in the cross, comes off the knee of Kurt Zouma awkwardly, and then Fornals gives it to Lanzini, and West Ham give it away again. They've just got to be a little bit more careful in possession, West Ham.
The Arsenal starting to grow into the game. It's a very evenly balanced game with both teams having good patches of possession and attacking play, but Arsenal just starting to grow into it a tiny bit more.
Mistake by Holding there. His pass behind Gabriel. The ball goes out for a throw-in to West Ham. We've got a lot of exciting European football coming up this week on 5 Live. We've got Premier League tomorrow, Manchester United against Brentford. Tuesday, it's the Champions League semi-final, Villarreal against Liverpool. Wednesday, Real Madrid against Manchester City. Thursday, we've got commentary of that second leg, Eintracht Frankfurt against West Ham. It's a huge week. We'll keep you up to date with how Rangers get on against Leipzig as well. Those semi-finals are all still balanced as such. You wouldn't say any of them are completely done and dusted just yet. Liverpool probably in the strongest position. So Fredericks commits a foul on the far side, and Saka free kick to Arsenal here. It is still 0-0. If Arsenal win today, they will have more points on the board with 4 more games to go than they earned in all of last season. That's been the improvement this time round under Mikel Arteta. Tomiyasu midway inside the West Ham half, wearing the bright orange boots. No real pressure on him. He turns and rolls it back to Rob Holding. Elneny gets a touch in the midfield again. Back to Holding once more. Back to the Egyptian Elneny. And now Lanzini does come forward to put a bit of pressure on him, and Arsenal are forced back, and Tomiyasu must retreat. Back to Gabriel midway inside the Arsenal half. Fornals applies a little bit of pressure on him. And Arsenal in no rush here. Rather than just blast it forward, they want to pick the right pass. Nuno Tavares into Martinelli. Good challenge from Noble, sends Arsenal back once again, but they do hold on to the ball with Gabriel. He's been a good signing for the club. So many misfiring centre-halves for Arsenal, but he's looked one of the most successful purchases of recent times. Tomiyasu towards Nketiah. Awkward pass. West Ham get it back. Zouma, quick feet to elude the challenge of Elneny. Pulls off Odegaard. The big roar of the West Ham fans as Zouma comes forward. Gives it to Benrahma. Crossing position on the left-hand side. Twists and turns one way then the other. Delivers across. Zouma's header comes off the arm of Holding. His arms were down by his sides though. Mike Dean doesn't flinch. VAR will have a look at it, but I would be surprised if they've any interest rather than a cursory glance. 0-0.
That does really well. Rob Holding just gets his body in there. His arms are down by his side, but it was lovely play from Zouma. Really got the crowd going. Drove forwards with the ball, put it wide and went into the box, and then got on the end of the cross from Benrahma.
Here comes Benrahma again, seeing a lot of the ball. Left wing for West Ham. Tomiyasu standing up in front of him. The two almost statuesque, staring eyeball to eyeball for a moment. Lanzini plays it back to the halfway line to Criswell, and West Ham are going to try their chances down the right-hand side. Noble to Sofal, down to the right wing to Fornals, flicks it with the outside of his right boot, back to Vladimir Sofal once again. Sofal, who was sent off against Arsenal the last time these sides met. It was at the Emirates in December. He gave away a penalty. Lacazette took it, saved by Fabianski. Benrahma again, level with the edge of the penalty area. Left-hand side as West Ham come forward. Gives it back into the midfield again. Lanzini Low ball to the feet of Fornals. Back to Mark Noble on the right-hand side. On to Sofal. Here comes the early delivery, headed down by Gabriel. Only as far as Fornals, who shoots for too high. And it sails over the top of the crossbar. West Ham needed that. An attempted goal. It wasn't troubling Ramsdale, but just keeping the Arsenal defence honest here.
Yeah, it's almost like you have it, then we'll have it, then you have it. And it's just this constant one team with the ball applying pressure, then the other team has a go at the moment. Some really good possession play, I have to say. Both teams moving the ball lovely. And that effort from Fornals is always kind of off balance as he strikes that ball. I think Lanzini was calling for the ball on the edge of the box, and the cutback into Lanzini may have been a better option for Fornals.
Arsenal started today inside the top four, but if they were to lose here, it would be Tottenham occupying that Champions League position tonight. By the end of today, both Arsenal and Spurs will have played the same number of games. Gabriel in the centre circle. Nuno Tavares on the left-hand side, midway into West Ham territory. Martinelli now, hugging the left wing. Tries to get on the back end of a 1-2 from Xhaka. And nothing fancy from Sofal. Puts the ball out for a corner. Corner to Arsenal on the left-hand side.
Now, I don't know about you, Connor, but I think it's safe in saying that European football here has almost brought this stadium to life and almost more like home for West Ham. There's a different feeling in here today, a different noise element.
No, absolutely. It has been a problem, there is no doubt. The atmosphere of this stadium, it hasn't felt like a football stadium a lot, but it's getting there. Martinelli's delivery too close to Fabianski, well held for the West Ham goalkeeper. I mean, it has been no flash in the pan since David Moyes' return. There has been this continual improvement. They finished top 6 last season, West Ham, and if they were to finish 7th this time around, it'd be the first time that West Ham, not just Premier League era, ever would have finished in the top 7 2 seasons in a row in the top flight of English football.
I mean, but to finish 7 while a full European campaign right up to a semi-final or final is in play is a major achievement for this side.
Here come West Ham. Benrahma over the halfway line, and he's got plenty of support here. West Ham have got an advantage. Sofal plays it in low. Chance. Benrahma blocked by the goalkeeper Holding. Lanzini tried the shot. Brilliant defending from Holding. He's threw his body in the way. Listen to the noise inside the London Stadium here.
Massive high fives for Rob Holding here. Both his goalkeeper and his fellow centre-back come over to give him a big slap on the back because he does so well. West Ham work the overload. There's a ricochet off Tavares from the cross from Sofal. Benrahma's coming in at the far post with his right foot just to curve that ball. I think he tries to go to the near post and drag it near. Rob Holding just stands big and makes the block.
No, it's really good, and that expression, I know exactly what you mean, and listeners will know, Matt, when you say stands big.
Yeah.
And kind of what that used to be back in the day was arms outstretched. But you can't do that now.
No.
You've got to keep your hands pinned and then still puff out your chest to make yourself as big as you can.
His hand position, he just kept him down low by his side.
Down the other end, Saka dribbles his way into the penalty area, ships it onto Nketiah. Good challenge, Mark Noble. Nketiah goes to ground inside the D, and then he's adjudged to have fouled Noble as the two of them try to get back to their feet. And it's going to be a free kick inside the West Ham D of their penalty area. But going back to that opportunity, best chance of the game really, Lanzini's shot, and Holding's going across, just throwing his body and making a very, very important block.
It was the first time that West Ham had managed to work that overload wide, and it was Sofal who had a bit of time to cross the ball. I'm just looking at the replay of that incident on the edge of the box, and Mark Noble puts in a great tackle on Nketiah. All his experience there, Noble just dropping into that defensive role and was in the right place at the right time.
Right, we've played half an hour here. Just want to illustrate how tight the battle for the top 4 is. As things stand at the moment, Tottenham and Arsenal will have both played 34 games, including this one Arsenal playing. They've both won 19 so far. If this was to finish in a 0-0 draw, they'd both have 4 draws for the season. They both would have 11 defeats. I mean, they are neck and neck, Tottenham with the better goal difference, and that's why, as things stand, Spurs would be inside the top 4 and Arsenal just below them. And that is why it is imperative for Mikel Arteta's team to try, the difference between a draw here and a win is massive, with that goal difference in Spurs' favour.
Well, imagine if they've still got to play each other as well.
Absolutely. It's going to be
a bit lively, won't it?
North London derby, which is going to be... Are you going to be at that game?
Yes, I am.
Oh, wouldn't miss it.
Lucky to be there.
Excellent. That will be good. This is Martinelli. That's a lovely touch. Flicked it over the top of Sofal. Tried to run around the other side. Noble was there to stop it. Inventive from Martinelli. Familiar to Vinicius Junior turning Fernandinho inside out midweek of the Champions League. It was a similar bit of Brazilian flair there for Martinelli. Said, see ya, ran around the other side. It was actually Fornals who came back and intercepted it. Mikel Arteta was right in front of that. He thought Fornals might have handled it. Not spotted by the referee.
It did look like a handball, didn't it? Just came in with his shoulder and just put his arm, gestured his arm towards the ball and just batted it down with the top part of his arm.
Match of the day 2 tonight. BBC One at 10:30. Mark Chapman will be with Troy Deeney, followed by the women's football show at 11:35. Fabianski has possession. West Ham penalty area away to our left. 12 minutes to go to half-time. Entertaining game so far, but still 0-0. Declan Rice has possession inside his own half, gives it short to Manuel Lanzini. Lanzini comes up towards the centre circle, rolls it to Mark Noble.
It's interesting because no real West Ham player is hugging this right-hand side touchline. You know, I'm looking at the position of Lanzini. Fornals is going very central as well. Benrahma's way out on the left, but nobody on this right.
Rice takes on Saka, shot straight at the keeper. Saved by Ramsdale. He's so good at that, Rice. He puffs out his chest, he takes on one player, and before you know it, he's in a shooting position. In the end, the good run wasn't quite matched to the quality of the shot, and it was an easy save for Ramsdale.
Well, that's something that's really developed into Declan Rice's game in the last probably year, 18 months, is the ability to go forwards has just been incredible. And you're right, he's got this little bit of drive, hasn't he, where he sees an opening and he's so decisive that he just goes for it, and he goes past people and then he's running on to the next one. He either finds that pass to offload it or gets a shot off. And you're right, just the pace and the direction on that shot wasn't the best, but in terms of the opportunity that he sees it so early, Declan Rice, and he just takes it.
I was on Five Live's Euroleague show on Thursday with Steve Crossman. Mina Rzouki was one of the guests, and she said that she hosted an event for Real Madrid supporters last week, and one of the questions was, who do they want to sign? As we're watching Ketia here, stretch to the far post and he can't get onto Xhaka's ball. So Real Madrid fans asked, you know, if you could have any player in Europe this summer, who would you like? Number 1 was Mbappe. They all wanted Mbappe. Number 2 was Declan Rice, which she was surprised about that name came up, but that's who the Real Madrid fans were. That just shows the reputation he's deservedly getting.
It doesn't surprise me, to be honest. I know, you know, you can think of a lot of glamorous players and what have you, but what Declan Rice brings, it's just relentless, and it's week in, week out. I mean, you very rarely watch him play, and he hasn't got that same type of intensity, his body language, the way he applies himself for a young player. Very, very mature, the way he goes about his game.
He has won more possession this season than any other Premier League player. Declan Rice, whose first ever senior goal of his career came against Arsenal. That was 3 seasons ago, a winning goal against Arsenal. 0-0 for the moment between these two London rivals. 10 minutes to go to the break. Possession of Ramsdale at the back for Arsenal, plays it long. They don't often hoof it long. Towards Saka, beaten in the air by Fredericks. Aaron Cresswell playing at centre half today, nips in behind. And
well, that's how good the press has been from West Ham. You know, Arsenal, as you mentioned, very rarely, you know, they'll drop into centre-backs into their own 18-yard box, try and pass out, but I don't think they feel like they want to against this West Ham team. They're so alert and on the front foot, and that front four, including Jared Bowen, just the timing of when they release themselves. One of them presses and it's a real trigger, and they all go. They must work on it a lot in training. It's been drilled into them now. And I don't think Arsenal fancy losing the ball in their own third.
It was a 6-goal thriller when they met here last season. I remember doing the game. It finished 3-3. West Ham went 3-0 inside 32 minutes. Arsenal fought back to earn a draw by the end. West Ham scored 2 own goals to help them. We haven't had the goals so far, but it's been competitive in this first half at London Stadium, and any suggestion that West Ham are going to take the foot off the gas today and concentrate their efforts on Thursday, that has not been the case. They are giving this their all. Vladimir Sofal has it on the right hand side. His 25th appearance in the Premier League this season. Poor ball, he was looking for Bowen running down the right wing, but he's put it straight out of play, and he's furious with himself, and he waves an arm of apology to Jared Bowen, and he knows he should have done better there.
Well, he knows he should just look at the pitch, Connor, when that happens. You know, just blame the pitch. Talking from experience.
I was going to say, you've done that once or twice.
It's got to be the turf, isn't it?
I mean, it looks the proverbial carpet down there.
It gets harder and harder to say that with modern day pitches. Doesn't it?
Ronnie O'Sullivan will get a 147 on that pitch. Nuno Tavares prepares to take the throw in left full back position for Arsenal. No goals. West Ham, who have scored in all of their Premier League home matches this season. Only they and Liverpool have scored in every home league match this campaign. Tavares with a great run through the middle there, eventually pocket picked by Mark Noble, and Fabianski clears it away for West Ham. Nice touch by Fornals to Sofal. No ball to the feet of Bowen on the halfway line. Terrible pass infield for Bowen. He's given it away to Odegaard. Mistake that Arsenal would love to punish here. Nketiah, nice movement, edge of the area, shoots low, good save Fabianski. He really picked his spot there, Nketiah. He tried to guide it low into the bottom right hand corner. Reaction save from Fabianski to push it out for the corner.
Well played, Nketiah. They really did try and pounce on that loose pass from Jared Bowen. He faces Zuma up, who didn't move very well, I have to say. He faces him up and he just doesn't react to Nketiah. Gets plenty of space to get his shot off. Just not enough power, Connor. Didn't get any power on the strike. Allowed Fabianski to get down and just anticipate that shot.
More on that in a moment. Let's watch the corner. Played in by Saka. In swinger. Headed down and in! Arsenal make the breakthrough. And it's a special moment for Rob Holding. It's his first Premier League goal for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta's team hoping to return to the Premier League's top four ahead of Spurs, and they've taken the lead here ahead of half-time. Rob Holding's header from the corner. Did score in the League Cup against Nottingham Forest 2 seasons ago. Scored in the Europa League against Bate Borisov a few years back. Those have been his only 2 Arsenal goals before now. He managed to elude the nearest defender to him, who was Lanzini. That's a bit of a mismatch anyway. Holding's much taller than him, and he got in to knot it down beyond Fabianski. And Arsenal lead West Ham by a goal to 0.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that there's a goal from a set piece in this game. I just didn't think it was going to come from Arsenal. I mean, you mentioned Lanzini and his defensive duties there. He's the blocker. It's a zonal setup with Lanzini as a blocker, but the person that needs to head that ball is Kurt Zuma. And I mentioned him in the build-up to that, and I think there's been a lot of focus on him, whether or not, a few raised eyebrows that he's playing, but he just hasn't looked fit to me in this game. He doesn't look like he's got the energy to really apply himself how he needs to in this kind of fixture, and he just doesn't attack that ball at all. It goes right into his zone. Lanzini's the blocker, but ultimately Zuma has to go and head that area of the pitch, and he just doesn't get off the ground. And against someone like Rob Holding, who's a good header of the ball himself, just comes out on top. Holding, and he's a really good header, just hits the target in 1-0.
It's only the 5th goal that West Ham have conceded in the Premier League from a corner this season. They have a corner of their own. Rice flicks it on, comes back, I think, off the woodwork. Ramsdale saved it, maybe onto the woodwork. It all happened in the blink of an eye. Arsenal survived. That was very dangerous. Great lead from Declan Rice. Won the header of the front post, tried to flick it in. And Arsenal so relieved to get it away. 5 minutes to the break. West Ham United 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, it's very much a flick from Declan Rice, wasn't it? Brilliant reaction from Ramsdale. In swinging ball, Declan comes off the post, and it's just a save from Ramsdale. Really strong hand. He comes off the post, and he gets his right hand, Ramsdale. I think that's going to hit the crossbar, or just hit the crossbar and go in. It's an important save.
Very firm hand from Ramsdale. The power that it propelled away from him, that's why I thought it had come off the woodwork, but you're right, it was just a very good save for the goalkeeper.
Good response. Corner. Yeah, a lot of pace.
Good response from West Ham to going 1-0 down.
Really good response. And again, doing what they do well. Win set pieces and try and capitalise, and the delivery was outstanding. That's what made it. It was a great run from Declan Rice, who started on the near post and just peeled out a little bit. As he came out, he just glanced the ball, and all the pace was on the ball, as we said, and it needed a really firm hand from Ramsdale.
West Ham too have a lot of resolve around them. This season they've recovered from being behind to come back and win 14 points in the Premier League. Coming into this weekend, no Premier League team had earned more than that, having been behind in the game, and David Moyes will hope that they've got it in them to do that again here. Good challenge by Fredericks, very good. And Rice will attack the penalty area. 4 defenders around him, and he can't weave his way into a position to pull the trigger. And Arsenal clear it away, and that the pace of the game remains relentless. Odegaard's pass, intercepted by Mark Noble. Very good work for the veteran. Here come West Ham with Fornals to Sofal on the right. Delivers a good cross, but there's no one in there. And Holding heads it over his own crossbar and out for a corner. Ear-splittingly loud here at London Stadium.
I mean, I'd go as far as to say that's a great cross from Sofal. Pace in the right area. It was crying out for just an out-and-out centre forward to be in there just to get a glancing header, but instead Rob Holding just deals with it and heads it over the bar. But it was a great cross from Sofal.
And of course West Ham don't have an out-and-out striker on the pitch. Antonio's on the bench. Here's the latest corner, another in-swinger. Holding jumps up well, and Martinelli controls it inside the penalty area and comes dribbling away with it down the left-hand side. West Ham United 0, Arsenal 1. Good game in the Premier League on 5 Live in the World Service. Nketiah, whose tame shot was saved by Fabianski to create the chance for the corner that led to the goal. And Arsenal celebrating Rob Holding's first Premier League strike. Down goes Nketiah inside the centre circle. Referee just took a moment, 19, but he does blow the whistle and says free kick to the visitors.
It's a tackle from behind on Nketiah. Cresswell feels like he's won the ball, and he may have well have done, but he comes directly from behind. He just goes through the back of Nketiah. In fact, he doesn't win the ball. It's a very clear foul, and Arsenal have the opportunity now. They're taking their time. It's a free kick right inside the centre circle. The noise is deafening around this stadium. I've got to say, the supporters are really getting behind their team, the away Arsenal fans, but very happy just to see this out and going at half-time 1-0 up.
2 minutes to go to the break. This is Nuno Tavares into Granit Xhaka. Back to Gabriel. High press from West Ham, who are still full of vigour despite being 1-0 down. Declan Rice makes another interception. Gets to the ball ahead of Odegaard. Plays it to Bowen on the right-hand side. Jared Bowen, who's been operating as the central striker in this game, but back out in more familiar territory for him here on the right-hand side of the moment. Fornals onto Sofal. Xhaka's back there. Does well for Arsenal, who regain possession, left wing-back position. And then Nuno Tavares doesn't control it. That's landed Arsenal in it again, and West Ham remain on the attack. Throw-ins taken immediately. Sofal to Fornals. Into Declan Rice, who's having a very good game. To the left wing. Ryan Fredericks, only his 8th appearance in the Premier League this season as David Moyes rotates his squad. Good delivery in. Fornals wasn't able to get his body shape right. Couldn't shoot, but he does roll it back to Noble. His delivery is up high, headed down by Holding. Arsenal can't get firm grip of it though. They clear it away and they return it to West Ham once again. Ben Rama on the left-hand side up against Tomiyasu. Level with the edge of the penalty area. West Ham attack. Back into the midfield. Cresswell and Declan Rice have it between them. West Ham would love an equaliser before the break. Long crossfield ball. Controlling the chest by Sofal. Chance for Bowen! 1-1! Jared Bowen! West Ham's top scorer in all competitions this season. He does it again on his 100th appearance for the club. He's made it 1-1, and you've got to credit how West Ham have responded to going 1-0 down here. They've immediately started playing their best football of the match, and they're back on level terms. West Ham 1, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, great reaction from West Ham. Really good play. I mean, it's a tight offside shout on the initial ball from Rice to Sofal. Sure it's being looked at, but Sofal finds Bowen. And the touch, I mean, this finish is not easy from Jared Bowen. He's sitting up in the air, and what he's done, he's struck it really low. There's a slight deflection of Gabriel, who for me doesn't quite do enough here. Doesn't get out to really try and shut Bowen down. He turns his back a tiny bit, and the ball just flicks off Gabriel's hip. And that's what sees it past Aaron Ramsdale in the goal. You know, credit Bowen, lovely control. He just tries to guide the ball into the far post. It's a difficult skill, but the deflection off of Gabriel really does just put it past Ramsdale.
It is Jared Bowen's 16th goal of the season in all competitions, and here come West Ham again. Ben Rama in around the back of Tomiyasu, breaks into the penalty area left-hand side. Good recovery from the Japanese defender, and that goes out for a corner, and there won't be time to take it. And West Ham are furious. You know, usually officials will find the time to at least allow a corner to be taken. The boos you're hearing in the background is because Mike Dean is pointing to his watch. He said there was 1 minute to be added on. The 1 minute has expired, but West Ham will leave the field with an extra little spring in their step, because having gone 1-0 down to Rob Holding's header from the corner, they are back on level terms for half-time. 1-1, Matt Upson. Very enjoyable first half of football.
Really good first half, and very even. It has to be said, both teams having some good possession, good attacking play. But I just love the way that West Ham have come back into this game. We saw them do it in the midweek, go 1-0 down early, and the reaction from that was outstanding, and it's been absolutely no different in this game. They've really responded well after that Arsenal goal.
Jarrod Bowen's 5th goal in London derbies this season. No Premier League player has scored more in London derbies. 1-1, can't wait for the second half. Steve. Thanks very much. The team's just coming back out for the second half. Arsenal's lead lasted about 6 minutes in the closing stages of that first half. Rob Holding's first ever Premier League goal cancelled out by the equaliser from Jarrod Bowen. Bowen, whose stats are just fantastic. I was reading there over half-time. Today is his 208th appearance in the top 4 tiers of English football. He's now, between goals and assists, been involved in 100 goals. 100 goals in 208 appearances. I mean, it's fantastic. Yeah.
It's insane, really, statistically, in terms of what that is for a player. It's absolutely amazing.
He's not a number 9 either. I mean, normally he's like an attacking winger, but he's become such an important player for West Ham United. David Moyes selecting him in the starting 11 today, despite the importance of Thursday's Europa League game. And isn't he glad he did now? Arsenal, who thought they'd make such an important breakthrough, but virtually immediately they were dragged back level again. And it all sets it up for an exciting second half here. There haven't been any substitutions made over the break. The West Ham fans singing of bubbles in the air as we get back underway. West Ham in their claret and blue, playing from right to left as we look down. Arsenal in the change strip of yellow. Nuno Tavares, left back, gives it into Gabriel. His clearance goes out of play. So West Ham with Fabianski in goal. It's a back four with Sofal on the right-hand side, Zuma and Cresswell in the middle, Ryan Fredericks playing left back, Declan Rice and Mark Noble in the midfield, then Bowen, Lanzini and Fornals and Benrahma in the attack. Bowen has been the peak of the attack, the centre forward for much of the game so far.
Sorry, Connor, it's just interesting when you go through those players. It's hard to see who that one is playing on the right-hand side, though, isn't it? You mentioned Lanzini and Fornals. I mean, Benrahma's very clearly on the left-hand side, coming in on his right foot, but the other two are just kind of drifting about, and it's allowing Sofal to get really far forward from right back.
Yeah, they're sort of floating, those two, Lanzini and Fornals. The Arsenal team, Ramsdale the goalkeeper, Tomiyasu at right back, Holding the goal scorer with Gabriel in the middle, Tavares the left back, as Cresswell here clears the ball away under pressure from Nketiah, and Nenny alongside Xhaka in the midfield, Odegaard pushing on, Saka right, Martinelli left, Nketiah the striker through the middle. Good challenge in the midfield by Mark Noble. West Ham fans love that when he grits his teeth and throws himself into a tackle and wins possession. Declan Rice has it now beside the centre circle, and he rolls it over to the right hand side to Fornals, who is up against the touch, and Bowen is again through that middle central striking position for the moment. Kurt Zuma at the back to Cresswell, high press from both Nketiah and Odegaard, and West Ham look to play through it. Noble on the right hand side to Sofal, challenged by Nuno Tavares, ball goes out of play, throw into West Ham on the halfway line, 1-1.
That's what's impressed me the most about this West Ham performance so far, is that they've handled the ball as well as Arsenal, and I think that everyone would have expected this game for Arsenal to come here, have the lion's share of possession. It's pretty much 50-50 from the first half, and that just says how well West Ham have played with the ball.
Here's Sofal, wide on the right, gives it into Fornals, low ball into the penalty area, Benrahma's onto it, cracks in a shot, comes off the side of the head of Holding, who stood his ground, and it banged him on the ear and ricocheted away to safety for Arsenal. Good start to the second half for West Ham.
Yeah, sharp play from Benrahma, is wide on the left, and as that ball comes in, he gets almost dragged onto the edge of the 18-yard box, but he has the run on Tomiyasu, he anticipates it before him, gets hold of the ball, and it's a decent strike as well. Whether or not it was on target, I'm not too sure, but Holding in the way again.
Jarrod Bowen now into double figures for Premier League goals this season. Last West Ham United player who got 10 goals or more in a Premier League season was Kevin Nolan. That's almost a decade ago now. Here's Bowen again, doing very well against Saka. Petulant from Saka. He's going to go in the book for that. He's just kicked out. No attempt to play the ball, and he's tripped the legs out from underneath Jared Bowen. That's silly from Saka, right in front of Mike Dean. It's on the halfway line. There's no immediate threat to the West Ham goal. It's a blatant yellow card, and for what?
Well, it's just daft. I mean, he doesn't tackle properly, first of all. If he puts his foot in the right way, perhaps he wins the ball back off Bowen, but he doesn't, and maybe that's the frustration. He's annoyed with himself that he didn't go into the tackle properly, and then it's just a silly trick from behind.
Here come West Ham again. Fornals pass asking too much of Benrahma, and it's shielded out of play by Tomiyasu, and that is going to be a goal kick to Arsenal.
Back to Bowen a little bit. I mean, you mentioned what he does in terms of impacting the game with the ball, Connor, but when you think about him, you mention as much out of possession, don't you? And I think that's the thing that David Moyes loves the most. Every manager wants assists and goals in their players, but the work rate this lad has, he's very humble on the pitch. There's no air about him of that he's not going to roll his sleeves up and put a shift in. I think that's the most attractive thing about Jared Bowen, is his mentality and attitude. It's so infectious in this West Ham team.
6:06 coming up with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. And once this live game has ended around about 6:30 this evening here on BBC Radio 5 Live, we've also got listeners on the World Service tuned our way for this 4:30 Premier League kick-off on a Sunday. West Ham 1, Arsenal 1. The score for now. Fredericks at left back, heads infield towards Cresswell. He volleys it clear on the edge of the penalty area, controlled by Lanzini in the midfield. West Ham unbeaten in their last 6 Premier League home games here. If they stay unbeaten today, it'll set a new club record for the Premier League era. They haven't gone 7 home league games unbeaten here before. Back at the old Upton Park, they did at one stage go 15 Premier League games unbeaten before they left there. But at this stadium, which we spoke about with Steve Crossman at the beginning of half-time, it's becoming more and more of a fortress. It's becoming more and more what West Ham hoped it would be when they decided to leave the old Bowling Ground and take up stock of this futuristic stadium. Mistake at the back by Gabriel, and West Ham are going to get a throw in attacking position down the right-hand side. Earlier on today, Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Rangers 6 points clear. Celtic 6 points clear with 3 games to play there. Everton got such a crucial win. They're still in the relegation zone, but they are 2 points from safety now, beating Chelsea by a goal to nil. Tottenham beat Leicester 3-1. Leicester have also got a European semi-final second leg to come on Thursday. Here come West Ham. Benrahma's cross from the left, headed out by Granit Xhaka. Nodded down by Nketiah for Bukayo Saka. Gives it back to Nketiah over the halfway line. West Ham sprinting to get back into position. Nketiah's held up by Zuma on the edge of the penalty area. Turns and gives it back to Tomiyasu. Pressure applied by Lanzini, and with the help of Benrahma, West Ham briefly win it back, but then 2 players run into each other and Saka can pick it up for Arsenal. He's tackled by Mark Noble. Saka stays down. Mike Dean said it was a fair tackle. Arsenal play on with 10 men for the moment. Saka slowly trying to get back to his feet. Xhaka had a little look to see if his teammate was okay, and then Xhaka's given it away. Arsenal fans will be furious with this. Ball over the top. Bowen sprints onto it. Ramsdale down and he's caught it. Goalkeeper's going to be in trouble here. Ramsdale, was there a connection on Bowen? He's dramatically gone down. Referee reaches for his pocket and he shows the yellow card. He shows it to Bowen. That's a dive.
Wow, Connor, I mean, that's a massive shout from the referee. I mean, in fairness to Ramsdale, straight away, he gets up and he waves his finger. There was no contact, but the linesman...
Darren Cann at the far side is the official who spotted the dive there. I mean, at first glance, it looks like Ramsdale has taken Bowen out, and you think the keeper's going to be in trouble. We've the replay of it here. Bowen gets the touch. Out comes... I mean, from that angle, it looks a foul, to be honest. Hang on, this will be a better angle.
Yeah,
Let's have a look.
I mean, maybe there isn't actual contact, it has to be said, but I think if he allows Ramsdale to make contact, he's going to injure himself. So he had to kind of jump out of the way.
He's got a hurdle, doesn't he? It's an interesting comment. It's a dilemma, and if you're a fan of one of these teams, you will strongly feel the decision is again.
But it's almost not a dive, because what can Jared Bowen do in that situation? He's not able to keep his feet, but if he stays planted in the ground, he's going to possibly have a serious injury.
It's certainly not like he's trying to massively deceive. As Saka has a shot here from a tight angle that saved by Fabianski. It's a great talking point. I'm sure the 6 guys will be all over.
Ramsdale's completely out of control. He's flying out of the box. He's launched himself in the air to win the ball. He's nowhere near the ball, and he's a fraction away from Jared Bowen. It is an interesting debate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I think Bowen is making every effort to hurdle over the challenge. That's why he goes down.
Yeah.
The only reason he's got to make that sort of elaborate move at high speed is because of the challenge, the manner of it from Ramsdale. It's a really tough one. I guess goalkeepers always are protected, aren't they? And it seems to be the case there too, but it's a good talking point. Yellow card shown to Jared Bowen. I mean, if he now is some other silly mistake, ends up getting sent off for that. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's not that type of player to throw himself down that, and I just don't think he could do much more. His stride was broken by the movement of Ramsdale coming out, and he had little choice.
Corner to Arsenal. Saka to take it on the right-hand side. We played 9 minutes in the second half. High and floated. Sofal jumped well and headed it down. Martinelli will collect. Still inside the penalty area. Right for the delivery. Gabriel! Arsenal take the lead for the second time. And it's the Brazilian central defender, Gabriel, powering in a header. Both Arsenal goals from the two centre-backs. Rob Holding just before half-time. Gabriel just after. And it's Arsenal who've got a 2-1 lead yet again.
Well, just look at the celebrations from the Arsenal fans and the Arsenal players. Look at what it means to them. They know how big this game is. They know that 3 points here is a massive, massive boost to them finishing in that top 4. And it's another goal that's very much worthy of a West Ham style, to be honest. It's a set piece that gets cleared in. It's a second phase. Martinelli picks the ball up. He just dinks it to the back post, and West Ham have gone to sleep. Nobody's locked in with Gabriel on the second phase. He just stays out of the back post, and as the cross comes in, he just arrives there. It's a really comfortable header. It's not a great header, if I'm honest. It's straight at Fabianski. He doesn't pick a corner, but it just hits Fabianski in the knee and goes into the roof of the net. It's such close range. He can't keep it out, but you know, another set play for West Ham to concede is very unlike them.
West Ham United 1, Arsenal 2. And any Tottenham fans listening in, as it stands, Arsenal are going back above Spurs and into 4th place in the Premier League for now, with that North London derby to come in 11 days' time. West Ham have already come from behind in the game. Can they do it again? Gabriel's header. He was called into the Brazil senior squad for the first time in March. He had to withdraw from that call-up because of the imminent birth of his daughter. He's a player who Arsenal fans hope has got a big bright future ahead of him. He's still only 24 years of age. And it's the two centre-halves who've scored the 2 goals for Arsenal today. Can West Ham come back once more? They have possession on the halfway line. Ryan Fredericks, under pressure from Saka, gives it back to Aaron Cresswell. Well, fair play to Arsenal. You know, West Ham have been playing good stuff since Arsenal took the 1-goal lead, but Mikel Arteta's team have got a backbone now that they haven't had for a few years, and good pressure being applied here by Martinelli. He charges down a clearance from Cresswell, and Cresswell just about recovers to send it back to Fabianski.
Yeah, I think it was a really good quality cross from Martinelli, who just peeled out to the back post as it got flipped clear. He just got his head up, knew exactly the area to hit at the back post.
Mistake by Holding. Now Lanzini tries to pounce upon it, and the loose ball carries through to Ramsdale.
Yeah, just a bit of a wild swipe from Rob Holding there. Doesn't connect with the ball, but it goes harmlessly back to Ramsdale, and it's now up to Arsenal just to steady the ship here a little bit. It's a lot of noise and energy around this stadium, and West Ham have played in such a high, intense way that they just want to keep possession of the ball, Arsenal, a little bit, do what they're good at, which is knock the ball around and just maintain a little bit of territory.
Here they come again. Arsenal down the left-hand side. Nuno Tavares, low ball, looking for Nketiah, cut out by Zuma. Nuno Tavares tries to keep it alive on the left, but Sofal gets it back for West Ham and clears it up to the halfway line. Before today, Arsenal had only scored 4 headers in the Premier League all season. Now they've got 2 in this game. Martinelli shoots from miles out, and that's not troubling Fabianski, and it's into the Arsenal fans behind the goal who are thoroughly enjoying themselves now. The local rivalry of a London derby. Arsenal 2-1 in front, and they hope moving back into the top 4 tonight.
Making a lot of noise, aren't they? Really enjoying themselves, the away fans. Up on the second tier as well, Connor.
There's like two sections.
Yeah, there's a good collection just to the right of the West Ham goal and up behind them.
David Moyes making the 5 changes to his team. I mean, he does have, if he's interested here, he's got the likes of Antonio and Souček, and he could bring them off the bench, but the allure of that Europa League semi-final on Thursday is a big one, and he'll want to keep them wrapped in cotton wool if he can, as Nketiah breaks into the penalty. Let's come back to Nketiah again. Left-footed shot saved by Fabianski. Arsenal have got wind in their sails.
It's a sharp run from Nketiah. You can just tell because he just has a little bit more purpose when he has the ball. You can tell he's had a few games and the confidence just lifts up a little bit. Really ran at Sofal then, cut inside, little 1-2. Not a bad strike, didn't really trouble Fabianski, but just the energy is there from him now. He's looking to make things happen.
Smell of sulphur in the air.
Yeah, really get on that, can't you?
Fireworks being let off by the Arsenal fans in celebration of the goal. Fredericks gives it to Benrahma on the left-hand side, and West Ham looking to recapture the groove that they were in earlier on in the contest. Cresswell lays it short to Lanzini in the midfield. Touch for Declan Rice. Arsenal have shown very good resilience to twice take the lead now in this game. Mark Noble near the halfway line for West Ham, playing right to left as we look down. Arsenal fans making the noise. Fredericks on the left-hand side, back in field to Rice. Good pressure from Odegaard, leading by example, putting the pressure on, sending West Ham back deeper into their own territory. Rice again, floats one out to Kurt Zouma, chests it down. Nketiah puts pressure on him, wins it off Kurt Zouma, who dilly-dallied too long there. He didn't have that sort of time, Zouma. Not having a great game today. He's been one of West Ham's best players this season. He doesn't look comfortable today.
No, I completely agree. Just looks a little bit laboured, and whether or not that is just that big game in the midweek and not had a lot of football, and again it just raises a real interest on the fact that David Moyes went with him and Diop on the bench, but you know, he must feel like he either needs the minutes or just the magnitude of this game is big, and his mind, he wants his best players on the pitch.
Noble, deep midfield position, picks the pass to Fornals inside the Arsenal half. Sofal powers down the right wing like a train, rolls it into Fornals once again, midway into Arsenal territory. Benrahma, Sofal, bad pass, not kept in play, throw into Arsenal, left full-back position for them. Arsenal who have Leeds at home next, then the North London derby away at Tottenham. As things stand, they could be going into that North London derby with an advantage in Spurs. Arsenal who started today inside the top 4. If you look back over the last few decades, very rare that a team starts the month of May inside the top 4 and then ends up dropping out of it by the end of the campaign. It's only happened something like 3 times in the last 30 years. One very famous example was when Tottenham started May in the top 4 in 2006. They were overtaken by Arsenal on the last day. That was the famous Lasagna Gate day, when you'll remember it, when Tottenham lost to West Ham.
Yeah, I remember it well. It's always a nice talking point, isn't it? I mean, I didn't realise that the statistic really was like that. If you started in the top 4, I mean, it just shows you, doesn't it, to finish there, that end of the season is so crucial, and the best teams are able just to hold their nerve, aren't they? To keep churning out the results and just hanging in there.
I know Ian Dennis, our colleague on 5 Live, put up a sort of a handwritten note on Twitter a few weeks back, where he showed that coming into the closing stages of the season, actually very little changes. As Fornals comes in the attack down the right-hand side, he's got Bowen outside him, burst to the byline, low drag back. Benrahma reacts in the centre to try and keep it alive. Arsenal are working hard, exemplified by their captain Odegaard. Rice has it on the left-hand side for West Ham. Pressure on him from Saka, plays it back into a deep position to Mark Noble now, central, low to the feet of Benrahma, back to goal, back to Mark Noble. To the right-hand side is Sofal. Again, that presence of a central striker absent at the moment from West Ham. They've lots of neat attacking midfield players, but they don't have an out-and-out striker. There's no one around the D edge of the penalty area to pick a low pass into. Here's Cresswell on the left-hand side. That's a nice ball to Benrahma on the left wing. Up against Tomiyasu. Step over, cut back, right-footed cross, header up in the air by Odegaard. Comes down on the edge of the box. Rice tries to get a touch. Nketiah, good little wriggle and jiggle to try and get away from a few opponents, and he eventually clears it away under pressure. Deflected by Zuma, and out for a throw into Arsenal. Arsenal lead by 2-1. Half an hour to play.
Well, Tomiyasu has had a difficult afternoon against Benrahma today. You just feel that low centre of gravity and the ability to chop and change direction has caused him a few problems. He's able to get a lot of crosses into the box. Benrahma has been very active on this left-hand side for West Ham.
Earlier on today, Richarlison's goal gave a hugely important win to Everton. They are still inside the relegation zone. Tottenham beat Leicester 3-1. Harry Kane scored. Son got 2. Tottenham moving ahead of Arsenal into that top 4 position, ahead of the kick-off here at London Stadium. But for now, Mikel Arteta's side are set to leapfrog over them again, leading as they do here by 2-1. I don't think we've seen the last of the goals in this game, though. Noble gives it short to Declan Rice. The sprinting that Odegaard has done, the shuttle sprints to put opponents under pressure, has been remarkable in this second half. He's got some engine. This is Cresswell, low to the feet of Benrahma, back to Cresswell again, back to the halfway line to Declan Rice. West Ham fans have found their voices again. Come on, you Irons, the noise in the air in East London. As Xhaka, careless in possession, gives it away to Mark Noble. Options right and left for Noble, gives it short to Lanzini. Tries to hold off Odegaard. Low ball into the penalty area, looking for Bowen, intercepted, and Odegaard comes away with possession, sends it early over the halfway line. Nketiah's one-on-one with Zuma here to try and get into the penalty area. Zuma standing him up. Nketiah comes in field, strikes it straight to the chest of the goalkeeper. Save from Fabianski.
Well, it looked offside initially. The ball from Odegaard over the top to Nketiah, but the linesman kept his flag down. It was a comfortable save for Fabianski in the end. Just came inside on his right foot, Nketiah, but no real sting in the shot at all.
25 minutes to go. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2. Benrahma attacking down the left. He's enjoyed these runs against Tomiyasu. Tries to come infield of the Japanese player, who stands his ground and wins the ball back for his team there.
He's not going to get any joy in that manner for me. He's not going to be able to run him or outmuscle him, but when he just uses that change of direction, like feint to cross, chop back inside, Tomiyasu's found it really hard to put the brakes on and adjust to that kind of reaction. So I think that's the key for Benrahma, just to try and move him and then get the cross in, get that half a yard that way.
This young Arsenal team, who've had to go through quite the culture shock of change and, high rotation of players. Mikel Arteta having the youngest average age in the Premier League this season, but the green shoots are there. And if Arsenal can get back in the Champions League next season, bit of investment in the squad, that long journey back from what has been the doldrums compared to the high days of Arsene Wenger. Well, there could be signs that they are coming back.
I think there's been an extra half yard of effort from Odegaard with that captain's armband.
I think so.
Certainly seen a little extra spurt from him in this game.
So. Good point. This is Saka back into Odegaard. Tries to hang one over for Nuno Tavares, who'd attacked up from the left-hand side. He's now captain of club and country, Odegaard. He's 23, whatever he is.
Yeah,
it's 22.
22, yeah.
He's captain of Norway and he's captain of Arsenal.
Impressive.
The player who's, the child prodigy in Real Madrid.
I never had him down as that. I don't know him too much as a character, but it's interesting that he's been selected as captain material. He must be, lead by example and have that vocal ability and organisation on the pitch.
It's funny, 22, but he's been a senior professional for 7 or 8 years. He's been in that Real Madrid dressing room. He probably feels like a wise head on young shoulders. But a player who has worked out, they've tried a lot, like Dani Ceballos in the middle of the midfield, and all the Guendouzi's and all these guys, and different players have tried to help out in that central third of the pitch for Arsenal. Odegaard seems to fit the way that few have.
He's certainly more consistent, isn't he? You have to say that. You mentioned those names, and it was sometimes a little bit of a toss of a coin, wasn't it? What kind of performance you're going to get, and I think Odegaard has been very consistent in the last 12 months or so.
This has been Arsenal's first season not playing European football. It's a long time, back to the mid-90s. They've been able to refocus, prioritise the league. Top 4 clearly the target. They knew they weren't going to be in the title race, but that top 4 race looks like it's going to go down to the wire in that pivotal game in 11 days' time.
Well, they weren't going to be in the top 4 race, were they? I think at the start of the season, I mean, it was
bottom September 11th.
disastrous, wasn't it?
It's been some turnaround in the sort of, rebuilding job that I think Manchester United are going to face next season. Will they be able to do it as well as Arsenal have done this time round? Odegaard controls inside his own half. Arsenal leading 2-1 here. We're midway through the second half. Odegaard picks a nice ball to Nuno Tavares. He's got room on the left-hand side. Comes over the halfway line. Helps the ball on to Martinelli. So follows the defender for West Ham. Martinelli cleverly flicks it off Fornals. Knew exactly what he was doing. Wins the throw-in for his team. Big week of European football to come. Starting with Manchester United Brentford tomorrow, Premier League commentary on 5 Live. Then we've got Villarreal Liverpool on Tuesday, Real Madrid Manchester City on Wednesday, both of those semi-final second legs of the Champions League. On Thursday we'll be in Germany, Eintracht Frankfurt against West Ham. West Ham 2-1 down in that one from the first leg here on Thursday. West Ham did hit the woodwork 3 times in that first leg. Goal kick to Fabianski away to our right-hand side. Arsenal will be pleased, having taken the 2-1 lead. West Ham haven't been able to get into any obvious shooting positions in that time. Declan Rice has it on the edge of his own penalty area. Short to Sofal on the right-hand side. Pressure from Nuno Tavares sends West Ham back. Zuma clears. Right-footed, high and hoisted. El Neni jumps to the halfway line, wins the header. Good work though from Lanzini to win it back. Shrugs Odegaard aside. Sofal's got a bit of room on the right. Arsenal with plenty of left yellow jersey defenders back in position. West Ham inside the centre circle now with Mark Noble. Starting 2 weekends in a row, only his second and third Premier League starts of the season. His final season as a Premier League player. Fornals tries an ambitious ball. Oh, that's almost really good. Sofal applauds it. It fizzes away from him. He doesn't get there in the end. Clever idea of a pass from Fornals, which very nearly worked.
Maybe a little bit too ambitious, wasn't it, Connor, just to be able to fade that ball in and across. But just as you mentioned, Mark Noble, I think he's been brilliant today. I really do. I think he's not lacked mobility at all. I think his tackling's been excellent. He's anticipated and used the ball really well. He should be really pleased with his performance.
So here comes a change for West Ham. They're going to bring on Mikel Antonio. Scored on Thursday against Eintracht Frankfurt. He will replace Manuel Lanzini. Antonio, who was rested at Chelsea last Sunday, but will get a late cameo here. 20 minutes plus the stoppages. Can he get an equaliser for West Ham?
I think he's just signalling Jared Bowen out to the right-hand side. He's going to drop Fornals in behind Antonio in that number 10 role. So Jared Bowen slipping over to that normal right-hand side of the pitch at the moment, which is more that kind of balance that West Ham like in their front three.
The two Arsenal central defenders, Gabriel and Holding, they've actually had a nice day, if you like. They haven't had a number 9 to look after. They've both got on the score sheet. Everything has been great. Next 20 minutes are going to be different. Now that Antonio is on.
Might change. It's a slightly different challenge.
Different prospect now as Fredericks throws the ball towards Antonio. Tomiyasu jumps in front and heads it out of play for another throw into West Ham. Well, Eintracht Frankfurt will be watching this in the distance and they'll be saying, good, West Ham have been made to sweat here. Miles on the clock. This might affect their fatigue on Thursday. But David Moyes, I think he'll be thinking from here, if they can get an equaliser here, that feel-good factor. Cross comes in, Fornals tries to hit the cross, tries to hit a volley on it. He probably got it on target, but too many defenders. And now El Neni puts the ball in front of Nketiah. Fabianski thought about coming out, now he's retreating. Nketiah's in and he shoots and he puts it wide. Chance for Arsenal to maybe put the game to bed. Eddie Nketiah did everything right up until the shot.
Textbook, wasn't it? Textbook run. Great ball over the top, just catches West Ham out. Zuma can't get back in, and when he does, Nketiah just drops his shoulder. All the weight of Kurt Zuma's going to the right-hand side. Nketiah wants to skip inside onto his right foot, does that bit really well, just hits misses the target. There's a big hole there as well. If he hits that target, I don't think Fabianski's going to get there. There's a little window of opportunity just inside that far post, and he puts it about a foot wide.
Got the late winner at the Emirates when these sides met there last season. Eddie Nketiah trying to establish himself as the first choice centre forward at the club, and he could have done with that, nestling into the bottom corner.
They're the chances you have to take, Connor. I mean, that's the level we're talking about here for a team like Arsenal. Those crucial moments, you're defending deep, right bang, one counter attack, that has to be clinical, it has to be finished.
Yeah, for a club who want to be back in the Champions League next season, you've got to take that. El Neni in the midfield to Granit Xhaka. The game at the moment set up perfectly for Arsenal. They love to counter-attack. West Ham 2-1 down, have to push forward, have to attack themselves, and it does leave room for Arsenal to run into. As Nketiah challenges with Cresswell on the edge of the box, it slips through the two of those, and Frederick's clearance isn't great. Straight to El Neni. Now Odegaard, challenged on the edge of the box by Benrahma. Loose ball spills to Saka. Back into a central location to El Neni, just outside the tee. Fancies it, leaning back as he hit it. And Mo El Neni, who hasn't scored all season, puts it over the top. His last Premier League goal, his only one of last season, came against Newcastle this month last year.
Well, he had to have a pop really, because it just opened up that little gap between Noble and Declan Rice for once in this game was a little bit big, and he just stepped in, had a strike at goal, but always leaning back and rising.
Thomas Souček is down there and he's putting the shin guards into the socks, which would imply that he's going to get a late cameo here too, and it's quite possible that West Ham will finish this game with a stronger team on the pitch than how they started. 73 minutes on the clock. This ain't over yet, and Tottenham fans will be willing West Ham to get an equaliser. That could be a huge boost for them in their Champions League hopes of next season. Tottenham have got a better goal difference than Arsenal going into these closing games. They'll each have 4 to play after today, one of those matches against each other, those North London rivals. Mark Noble picks a pass to Benrahma, 10 yards outside the Arsenal penalty area. Sofal rolls it infield to Fornals, back to Mark Noble once again. Midway inside the Arsenal half, bit of room in this near touchline for Declan Rice. Has a little look around. Tries to cut inside of Odegaard. Short ball in the midfield, back to Mark Noble once again. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2. Patient build up here from the home side. Sofal's cross, looking for Antonio, too close to Ramsdale. The Arsenal goalkeeper makes the save.
It's definitely been a different game to what I was anticipating here, Connor. I mean, I look at 56% possession for West Ham, and the goals that Arsenal have scored have been very much like the goals that you'd expect from West Ham. And it just seems like there's a little bit of a role reversal in this game. It's a bit weird in that sense, because Arsenal just love to try and control possession all the time. Mikel Arteta wants the ball, wants to control the ball, and it just hasn't happened in this game. But they've still looked dangerous going forward, so a very different challenge for them.
Souček's about to come on, presumably to replace Noble. And this is Cresswell. And now Rice near the centre circle. West Ham playing right to left as we look down, chasing an equaliser here. They have come back to get 14 points in the Premier League from losing positions this season. Can they do it again? Noble, almost level with the edge of the penalty area. West Ham attack on the right. Sofal nearly loses it. Ball comes back to Noble once again. Declan Rice alongside him in the midfield. Now Cresswell, who's playing centre half, remember, but coming forward, delivers a left-footed ball into the centre. One in the air by Nuno Tavares. Martinelli's lost it on the edge of his own penalty area, but Odegaard picks it up, and that's a fine delivery from Odegaard.
What a ball that is.
First time clearance into the path of Eddie Nketiah, who didn't have to check his stride. Nketiah takes on Zuma. It's great recovery from Zuma there. You don't push him aside easily. And West Ham were able to clear it away, but Fabianski's clearance straight to Tomiyasu. It's a game that's been played at such a high tempo right from the get-go, and as we move into the final quarter of an hour now, nothing's changed. Fredericks, clearance straight to Tomiyasu once again. This is Odegaard, right-hand side of the midfield as Arsenal come forward wearing yellow. Tomiyasu's got a problem. He puts the ball out of play and sits down. And this break in play is going to allow West Ham to make their change. And it looks like Arsenal are going to have to make a change too, and Cedric Suarez is getting ready to replace Tomiyasu.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for Tomiyasu. Whenever you kick the ball out and then just go and sit down, he's either got something reoccurring from a problem or a new issue, whether or not it's cramp or something. It's certainly been a challenging game for him. It's a tough game to come back in.
Well, there is a standing ovation around London Stadium for one of West Ham's true servants. Mark Noble departs. Only his third Premier League start this season. He gives his all, as he's always done in claret and blue, and West Ham fans applaud that. But now the fresh legs of Thomas Souček come into the midfield. Tomiyasu's been replaced by Cedric Suarez, who's played regularly in that right full-back position. And these two teams are going to keep at it, hammer and tongs, for the final 13 minutes plus the stoppages. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2 for now.
And for his third Premier League start of the season, Mark Noble should be really pleased with that performance. I thought he was excellent. didn't look out of place whatsoever, and if anything I thought in terms of winning the ball back and tackling and coping with the speed of this game, which as we mentioned has been a pretty intense game, I thought he had a really good game in the middle there with Declan Rice.
Souček will bring fresh energy, he'll bring the aerial threat too. Long clearance by Ramsdale, high and hoisted up over the halfway line. Little push by Nketiah and Cresswell as the ball came to the two of them. Referee says play on. Xhaka has it in the midfield for Arsenal. Heavy touch by Nketiah gives it away. I don't think that pass was intended for Nketiah. Xhaka wanted him to leave it for Cedric Soares behind him. As it is, Fabianski clears. Not a neat connection on the ball. Spins in the air as it comes down to the halfway line. Xhaka rifles it forward. Bounces in front of Zuma. No pressure on him and he nods it back to Fabianski. West Ham aren't giving up the ghost here. They started the day 3 points ahead of Wolves, behind them in 8th place. And if it does go sour for West Ham in their pursuit of the Europa League, 7th place would get them into the Europa Conference League for next season. They can still, of course, finish ahead of Manchester United, try and get into that top 6 for a Europa League spot. So you can see why David Moyes will want something to happen. Oh, mistake by Sofal. Nketiah runs through, gets there ahead of Zuma. Shot by Nketiah, saved by Fabianski for a corner. He's had 6 or 7 chances in this game, Eddie Nketiah, and Fabianski keeps denying him.
Well, at least that time Nketiah hits the ball on target with a bit of pace, and he forces a pretty good save from Fabianski. It's a poor ball from Sofal, it's a lazy touch. He's got 2 defenders to beat, in fairness to Nketiah, and he just tries to bend that into the far post on the ground. It's a good fingertip save from Fabianski at full stretch.
It looks a bit like Ian Wright in the pass coming forward to where almost this languid run from Nketiah before hitting the striker. Fabianski got down well to make the save. 11 minutes to go. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2 in the Premier League. 6:06 to come with Robbie and Chris. Corner's going to be taken by Saka on the right-hand side. Raises his right hand as a signal. Short run up. High delivery. Out comes the goalkeeper. Easy pickings for Fabianski.
He's been really dominant in those situations, Fabianski. I know they've conceded 2 set pieces, but none of them have been anything from his position in terms of a fault, and I think he's really come and commanded those situations when he can, and come and kind of dealt with any ball that is within his area.
This is Ryan Fredericks just over the halfway line, filling in at left back today. David Moyes having to make do with a big shortage of defenders at the moment. Ogbonna's out. Diop, by the way, Issa Diop, who's been injured for a long time, he's back and on the bench today, which was a bit of a surprise. Scored an own goal against Arsenal at the Emirates 3 seasons ago. Arsenal 2-1 up here at London Stadium. Crossing the right hand side for West Ham, flushes through the box, and Saka in a right full back position gives it to Cedric Soares, and Arsenal should be able to clear it away. Big roar from the West Ham fans because no one was running in to put pressure on the Portuguese fullback. Ball goes out of play for a throw into West Ham. Mikel Arteta isn't happy. He played ball boy to get the ball, and he couldn't believe the throw-in was for the other team. West Ham are going to make another change. Ben Rama's coming off. Yarmolenko comes on.
Yeah, Ben Rama's been pretty dangerous as well. Just started to drift inside a little bit, but David Moyes obviously feels that little bit of unpredictability from Yarmolenko with that left foot. I mean, he is capable of conjuring something out of nothing, and he's hoping he'll do something in the last 10 minutes.
Yarmolenko, who started against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge last Sunday, scored an important goal against Sevilla in the Europa League last 16. And now he's on for the closing stages here. Sofal attacks down the right, gives it to Pablo Fornals. Level with the edge of the penalty area that West Ham attack in their claret and blue shirts. Arsenal in the yellow, having to sit deep. Yarmolenko strays offside as the ball comes to him. Good work from Xhaka, who just stepped up. He's enjoying that, gives a little high five to Gabriel. Free kick to Arsenal, who've got 8.5 minutes plus the stoppages to hang on here. Arsenal, who finished 8th in the Premier League in each of the last 2 seasons, haven't finished in the top 4 in the last 5 years. You've got to go back to the 1970s for the last time Arsenal went 6 seasons without a top 4 finish. Can they go back up to the top 4 tonight? Can they hold on to this 2-1 lead? Ramsdale is getting the boos and the cheers from the West Ham fans because he's taken a long time over that free kick. Eventually launches it, comes down nearly on the edge of the West Ham penalty area. Zuma wins the header. Martinelli has it for Arsenal. Back to Granit Xhaka near the halfway line. They're just joining our coverage. The 2 goals for Arsenal today, both headers, both from the 2 central defenders, Holding his first ever Premier League goal, and Gabriel, his fourth in the season for Gabriel in the Premier League. Here's El Neni. Arsenal's game management is key now. Keep their heads, keep possession. Frustrate West Ham, who certainly haven't given up. Xhaka to the left-hand side to Nuno Tavares, deep inside West Ham territory. Gives it back again to Granit Xhaka. Pressure from Souček. Gabriel has it inside his own half. Xhaka into El Neni. This is good from Arsenal. They're taking some of the fizz out of the bottle that's been shaken by West Ham. Xhaka to the feet of Nketiah. Pulls off Souček, finds Martinelli. Pocket of space. Ball that's in front of Odegaard. That was a good opportunity. Had the pass been more careful, Martinelli has given it away, and here come West Ham. Declan Rice sprays an ambitious ball looking for Yarmolenko. Cut out by Xhaka. Arsenal have it back in the midfield. West Ham are trying everything, but Arsenal for the moment hanging on.
Yeah, it was a poor ball from... who was that?
Declan Rice.
It's Declan Rice, yeah, but I think the initial ball from Arsenal was Martinelli, wasn't it?
Sorry, yeah.
We should have just found that ball earlier. It was a really good opportunity because there was a bit of an overload developing on the right-hand side with Saka.
Here's Saka again, goes down, challenged by Fredericks. The referee is going to give a free kick actually to West Ham. Flag has been raised. Nketiah has rammed into Saka, has rammed into Fredericks there. Now he stays down, and that's where you hear the boos and the cheers. And West Ham fans fear that Saka's just wasting time.
I mean, he is the type of player, Saka, that every game you watch him play, he does get kicked about a bit, doesn't he? I mean, he holds onto the ball, and what he does, he uses his body really well as that barrier between the defender and the ball. He's so clever with it, but what that means is you're constantly in contact, and a lot of the times the defenders will just kick straight through him if they want to, or just try and step in front. He goes to ground, he gets a little bit trampled on.
He handled it.
Yeah. Is it handball the reason why he gave the foul? Yeah.
He's back up on his feet, booed by the West Ham fans. 84 and a half minutes on the clock. West Ham still lead. And still trail by 2-1 here at London Stadium. David Moyes, who sent off Souček and sent on Yarmolenko and sent on Antonio, who's hardly had a kick since coming on. He's patiently loitering in that centre-forward position, but he hasn't had any decent service yet. Maybe Fornals could do something here. Tries to get around Xhaka, goes through him. El Neni was there too, but it's Gabriel in the end who clears away for Arsenal up towards the halfway line. Nketiah wrestles with Zouma, only one winner of that one. Zouma gets the roar of approval from the West Ham fans. They've remained very positive. Looking around the stadium, 5 minutes to go, can hardly see anyone heading for the exits here. They all think West Ham have got a late equaliser in them. Fornals, midway inside the Arsenal half. Arsenal sitting very deep. Sofal on the right-hand side. High delivery in. Chested on by Souček. Headed out by El Neni. Souček gets another nibble. Cedric Suarez with a touch too. Arsenal get it out of the penalty area, but West Ham regain possession again. And they have it with Declan Rice still inside Arsenal territory. Both managers out on the edge of their technical areas, bellowing on the instructions laid on. Zouma to the right-hand side. To Sofal. Martinelli trying to stay goal side of him. Here's Antonio, who's taken up a position on the right wing. Blocked by Gabriel. The ball comes back off Antonio. And though West Ham think they're getting a corner, and Antonio's furious about this, it's going to be a goal kick to Arsenal.
Well, it just says a lot that Antonio's had to drift all the way outside the box over to the corner flag in order to get a touch of the ball. Nothing's been delivered into the box, and I think the linesman gets that spot on because Gabriel blocks the cross from Antonio. It ricochets back up and just hits the knee of his other leg, which sends it out. And as we're talking, that man Saka is down on the floor.
He's going to be replaced again. So Emile Smith-Rowe is going to come on in place of Bukayo Saka, who's getting the treatment on the pitch. Arsenal now 4.5 minutes plus the stoppages away from a very important 3 points in their season on a day when Tottenham had briefly gone ahead of them into 4th position. Arsenal can re-establish that advantage, and the difference is huge. If Arsenal could go into that North London derby with their noses in front of Spurs, then all they need is a draw in that match, and it puts extra pressure on Tottenham.
It does, but it's that type of game where does that really go out the window, Connor? Do you know what I mean? I mean, forget the league position. First and foremost, a lot of supporters will tell you that local rivalry is more important. That they'd rather win that than have league superiority.
In terms of mindset, of course they'd approach it looking to win. But I'm saying, if it ends up being a draw, that's a great result for Arsenal if they start that game ahead of Spurs on the table. But if West Ham get a late equaliser here, then you could have a situation where it's Tottenham who would be top with a draw in the North London derby. So these closing minutes of this game could be absolutely key to this race for a Champions League place. High ball played forward by Suarez, bounces into the West Ham penalty area and is claimed by Fabianski. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2. Kurt Zouma will take it away from the penalty area. West Ham, who still want to finish in the top 6 and want to get a Europa League place, having had so much fun in that competition this season. Of course, if they were to win the Europa League and come back in that semi-final second leg and go on to win the final in Seville, well then West Ham could be inside the Champions League themselves next year. Arsenal using every trick in the book to run down the clock. Ramsdale eventually clears the ball away. High and hoisted. Challenged by Cresswell. Gets there ahead of Nketiah. And then Suarez, I think, fouls Bowen. It's got to be a free kick to West Ham inside their own half. Bowen gets back to his feet holding his head. No time to waste now for West Ham. Cresswell is going to leave it for Fabianski here. He'll take the free kick even though it's nearly at the halfway line.
They've broken up the play quite well in these latter stages, Arsenal. I think that physically they've competed well here today against a West Ham team that is very good at winning those second balls and competing in the air. And I have to say Arsenal have done pretty well on that front.
Fabianski has wasted the free kick. He's blazed it in front of everyone. And out for another goal kick to Arsenal, and Arsenal will waste their time over this. And we're about to move into the 90th minute. West Ham just going to be short today. Is it going to be one of those matches that propels Arsenal into the Champions League? The goals from Holding and Gabriel on a day that West Ham have given everything but are on the verge of coming up short. 4 games remaining after today for Arsenal. Ramsdale takes the goal kick. Souček wins the header, beating Martinelli in the air. Oh, it nearly ran through for Antonio. Good defending by Gabriel. Zouma now, header on the edge of his own penalty area. El Neni jumps with Fornals. Fornals has done well. And he's been fouled by El Neni, and it's a free kick to West Ham. And Martinelli prevented West Ham from taking it quickly. And that's just adding to the frustration. We're about to see what's going to be added on. Looks like 4 minutes to be added on here. Arsenal want to make another change. Yellow card for Nketiah for preventing West Ham from taking the free kick.
Well, it's been coming, hasn't it? You can just feel the frustration. It's starting to boil over a little bit between the players, all sets of players now. Massive kind of rumble in the middle of the pitch and all over nothing really.
Confirmation, but it is 4 minutes added on for stoppages. And David Moyes will be hoping that this particular delay for the handbags will be all added on to that as well. Arsenal are going to make this change, but not until after the free kick. They want to use it as another juncture to waste time, of course. It's going to be Albert Sambi Lokonga, the Belgian midfielder, to come on. Cresswell is now shown a yellow card too for his part in that, and I think it's because he grabs the shirt of Nketiah when they were squaring up to each other. Right, the change will be made. Odegaard will come off. More time wasted now because Odegaard's going to take off the captain's armband and give it to Xhaka, and now he'll slowly walk to the touchline. And West Ham are frustrated, but by the letter of the law this should all be added on at the end. 30 seconds at least. So Sambi Lokonga comes up.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting restart to this game. There's a few West Ham players really het up. Declan Rice really letting Eddie Nketiah know what he really feels about that situation. And I'm just wondering, next time the ball's just going to pop loose into that midfield area,
Sparks will fly.
Could be a feisty challenge coming in.
Absolutely. And it's been a feisty day on 5 Live Sport. Everton beating Chelsea. Who saw that coming at Goodison Park? 2 points behind Leeds. Everton with a game in hand. Oh, it's not been a good weekend for Leeds. They are slam bam in it now. As Souček wins the header for the free kick on the edge of the penalty area, trying to get it down to Antonio. Holding is able to clear it away. Arsenal haven't fully cleared their lines, but they should do now. Nketiah into the West Ham half. There's no one up there though for Arsenal. Sofal will pump it forward. Antonio jumps. No touch on the ball. Oh, he's done well, Antonio, to charge onto it and to get possession. and then down he goes, and he wants a free kick, and he's not going to get it. Throw in to Arsenal.
You can see the fans love that decision here. I think they really thought Antonio was going to win that foul. Puts his body into holding, and the way that the way he moves, he just kind of bounces into people sometimes using that big strong frame of his, and just doesn't win the foul, and Arsenal can waste a little bit more time with the throw-in.
Assuming it stays like this and there's still a few minutes to go, I think this is the sort of game that Arsenal wouldn't have won last season. There's a new backbone to them now.
Yeah, there is, and you've seen that today. Like I said, they've competed physically in this game very, very well.
So yet, long throw coming from Antonio, launched in from the left-hand side, really good distance on it. Holding jumps and wins the header, and then Nuno Tavares comes away with possession, sprinting down the left-hand side. He's got Emile Smith-Rowe inside him. Nice, careful pass. Smith-Rowe bearing down the penalty area. Declan Rice gets back but can't tackle him. Here's Nketiah onto Sambi Lokonga. He blazes it into the crowd. It's a dreadful shot, but it'll waste a bit of time. That was a good counter-attack from Arsenal, and West Ham had to really work to keep them at bay.
That was a brilliant counter from Arsenal, really was. Very slick football, lovely play from Tavares. Emile Smith-Rowe with the driving run in the middle of the pitch, slips the ball wide, and then Lokonga comes in, and the finish is a real letdown. I'm not too sure he should take the shot from that position, just turn away and keep the ball in the corner flag.
We've played 3 of the 4 minutes. Is this last chance saloon now for West Ham? Tottenham fans will be willing them to score. Sofal plays it into the penalty area. Zuma's playing up like a centre forward now. Ball comes back out to Sofal. West Ham need to get it in the box. Bowen to Fornals. Back to Declan Rice, who's got a bit of space. Low ball into the feet of Antonio. Out to the left wing to Fredericks. Here it comes into the box. Poor cross headed away by El Neni. That might have been West Ham's last chance. Nketiah holds up the ball for Arsenal. Antonio desperately trying to get him. Down goes Nketiah. Antonio's furious. He's insistent he didn't foul him. Nketiah's got the decision. Arsenal will waste time. 4 minutes are up. Is there going to be one last chance?
Well, there can't be any complaints from Antonio with that. It's a clear foul. He can't win the ball from the position he is. He's chasing Nketiah down, but he's just directly behind him. The ball's out in front. Nketiah's delighted to feel that contact. It's just a reason for him to go down and just again slow this game down. He's been a real focal point in this last 10 minutes, Eddie Nketiah. His role as that lone centre forward has been crucial, and he's just managed to draw the fouls, hold the ball up and actually play a really good role for Arsenal.
Arsenal on the verge of a 3rd win in a row. They beat Chelsea 4-2 at Stamford Bridge. They beat Manchester United 3-1 at the Emirates last weekend, 2 of their traditional rivals. They are now 2-1 up here against West Ham. A strong start to the season after was undoubtedly a wobble in early April when, remember, they lost at Palace, they lost at home to Brighton, they lost at Southampton, and Arsenal's chances at the top 4 appear to be going off the rails, and Arteta will be so pleased at how this ship has been stabilised. And yes, there is still much work to do to secure that top 4 finish, but Arsenal are giving themselves every chance now. There it is, the final whistle. West Ham United 1, Arsenal 2. 2 headers from 2 central defenders, Rob Holding and Gabriel, and 3 wins in a row now for Arsenal. It's been a very good 10 days or so for Mikel Arteta. Manchester United will have a chance tomorrow to re-establish a lead over West Ham in that race for the top 6. Arsenal back above Tottenham for now, back into the top 4, 2 points clear with 4 games to play, and one of those games, what is now a tantalising North London derby in 11 days. This has been a very good game. West Ham will dust themselves down, pick themselves up for Eintracht Frankfurt on Thursday, their biggest game of the season, and Tottenham have got the Champions League anthem ringing in their ears. They hope they're going to hear it at the Emirates next season. Good game. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2.